What's up, you beautiful Redditors? Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome to the RNEWS morning show. And let's just jump into it. From r/news. Mexican restaurant takes political stand with sign declaring, "No love, no tacos." If you're getting upset over that sign, congratulations. You don't get tacos. Edit. Thanks for the awards. TFW, love is political. I mean, it is now, clearly. It just makes me sad. If you're getting upset over that sign, congratulations. You're a butthole. And probably racist too. I think a lot of people in America don't realize that while you have a constitutional right to be a butthole and a racist, it doesn't mean people have to like or respect you and that private businesses have to serve you. Free speech means the government can't prosecute you for what you say. It doesn't mean that anyone else has to put up with your bullcrap. Love is political. Consider me a freaking ambassador then. The original sign was that famous, love is love, science is real, water is life, women's right to human rights, black sign with rainbow colors you've probably seen before. I love seeing those signs. It's just a little reminder that a lot of us are still saying that is a sign that his small-minded town had a problem with. His no love, no tacos was a response that went viral, and he's taking advantage. Selling novelty, advocating for voting, and raising awareness for election day being made into a holiday. He's paying his employees for the day off and volunteering at the polls. He's a great role model. I know I'm like, where's the politics? Everyone knows the Bible says, neutral thy neighbor. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. India arrests 83-year-old activist and Jesuit priest who was helping indigenous people fight mining corporates on terrorism charges. If Gandhi was around nowadays, Indian police would have arrested him. Edit. I guess that thing about being wrong on the internet is coming true here. That or the Indian police wouldn't arrest him knowing full well what he was like. TBF, the ruling party is not a big fan of his. They're affiliated with the group that assassinated him. Most right-wing Hindu nationalists don't like him as much because he championed the cause of minorities, but they'll use his name liberally if it suits their purpose in whipping up nationalist sentiments. Don't they literally praise the killer of Gandhi? Yep, they hold celebrations and consider Gandhi a heretic for uniting the many religious and ethnic factions across India. They believe India should be ruled by a tiny group of aristocratic elite by birthright, and that only Hindus should be allowed to live in India. Gandhi fought for secularism and against the caste system. Hence, he got killed for it. I want to move to the Star Trek version of the future. Anyone got a time machine? One correction. Gandhi didn't fight against the caste system. He was for it. Only he believed it was polluted over time and needed an overhaul back to its pristine conservative roots. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who hasn't been given enough importance, is the actual architect of India's secularism and progressiveness, or whatever that remains of it today. He was a staunch critic of Gandhi's underhanded backwardness. Recommended reading: www.thehindu.com. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/News. 800 Compton residents to get guaranteed income in 2-year pilot program. So are any of these UB tests taking into consideration the fact that people would likely make different choices during a timed experiment? Because if I was suddenly told, hey, we're giving you an extra income, but only for 2 years, I'd keep my current job and treat the UB as bonus income. No, they aren't, and it completely devalues the results of the experiment. But unfortunately, that's the way funding works. 2 years, though, is far too short. If one of these experiments guaranteed funding for closer to 10 years, we would start to see results a bit more similar to what actual UB would look like. Even at 10 years, it would be a skewed vision because you're only giving it to 800 residents in a neighborhood of 100,000, in a city of 4 million. The differences between 800 people and a universal 4 million are astronomically huge. And in one scenario, you're boosting the income of a small set of people, while in the other, you're inflating the local economy and boosting the cost of living. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/Politics. Twitter removes White House advisor's tweet saying masks do not prevent COVID-19. That must be why South Korea, whose population diligently wears masks, only has a few hundred deaths. And mind you, they had to deal with larger and denser urban centers, first cases being reported at around the same time as America. Outbreaks at megachurches being unable to order a complete shutdown to travel from China. A smaller economy and domestic manufacturing, foreign military bases on their soil that could have become vectors, a belligerent nation to the north that could have taken advantage of the slightest hint of political instability. America truly was playing on easy mode and still lost. How about ban the fricking account? This isn't some 98-year-old sharing misinformation. This is a WH advisor sharing misinformation to the general public that will result in people dying. This country's a freaking joke, and the fact that we are meant to praise Twitter for being the WH babysitter is so fricked up. The population has been gaslit into accepting insanely low standards, and the fact that this is being considered a meaningful action is pathetic. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/politics, Biden camp says even the best polling can be wrong in call to deepen lead. Damn right, we want landslide numbers. The final weeks approached. Get out and vote. Brother and I went to vote early in our first presidential election ever. Was glad to wait 3 hours to get our votes in. What made me even more happy was a conversation I heard behind me in line. Sir, would you like a sample Republican ballot? No thank you. I believe in science. Polls don't reflect the cheating that Trump and the Russians are planning to do. Polling don't mean squat if people don't vote. Also, most polls for Senate and House races are much closer than Biden-Trump. Biden needs the House and Senate to enact meaningful change. Don't just vote for Biden. Vote for all the politicians who will work for you instead of this cult of Trump. You're watching the RNEWS show. From r/World News. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern appears headed for bigger election win and second term in early vote counting. It's highly unusual for MMP as a system to deliver a majority for one party. If anything, as a system it's geared to prevent precisely that outcome. Clearly this has been a referendum of sorts on how Ardern has handled the pandemic. Her style of leadership has a clear mandate for the next parliament. Jacinda is a fantastic crisis leader. She will now need to handle the housing crisis in New Zealand. A crisis that won't be made any easier by the lack of economic opportunity in a COVID world. I'd say without question she's the most popular world leader on earth right now. And rightly so. So refreshing to have a PM that clearly looks, acts, thinks like a normal citizen and governs reflectively. Honestly, I didn't even vote for her. I vote Greens, but I'm bloody happy she's PM. Voted Greens for the first time this election. Just cause it seemed like Labour were gonna get in. And as much as I disagree on their GE or nuclear policy, the Greens are the only party to make the whole end of the fricking global way of life due to climate change a big part of their policies. Wait, in what democracy can a sane person run for office and win? Politics seems to be a lot less toxic where Murdoch isn't pulling the strings in the media. Not just winning but decimating the opposition. The National Party are losing an electorates they've held since the 1930s. And that's where we're going to end today's show. But if you like what you saw, leave a like. And if you want to see more of the RNEWS show, hit that subscribe button. As always, this has been the RNEWS show and I'll see you tomorrow.